Once upon a time, in the vast ghastly ocean, there lived a young mermaid named Laya. Laya was a curious little creature, always eager to explore beyond the familiar waters of her home. Her mother had warned her never to swim offshore, but Laya found it difficult to stay in the same place all the time. Her elder sister Serafina was free to swim wherever and whenever she pleases, but for some reasons, Laya was always restricted. One day, she looked left and right, up and down, and no one was watching. "Let me swim beyond this place and see what's happening in the neighborhood," she whispered to herself. With that, she swam far, her excitement fueling her journey. However, as she adventured further, she suddenly realized she could no longer find her way back home. Fear gripped her. She cried and called out for Serafina, her friends, and even her mother, but no one answered. Even when she sang their favorite song, there was no voice to sing along with her. Just then, she spotted a human woman bending down to fetch water from the river. Frightened, Laya hid behind a floating leaf, but a sudden wave swept her away, landing her right inside the calabash the woman was using to fetch water. The woman poured the water into her clay pot and carried it on her head. Trapped inside, Laya trembled in fear. After a few minutes, when the woman got home, she set the pot down and spoke in a language Laya did not understand. After a while, a little boy came around and started playing with the water with his both hands. His mother yelled at him. Laya didn't really know what she told him, but after his mother yelled at him, he left and then returned after a few seconds with a bowl in his hand. He dipped the bowl inside the pot and then fetched some water, but Laya followed the water he fetched. Immediately he saw her in his bowl. He flung it all of a sudden, and then Laya landed on the ground. Trembling, he attempted running away out of fear, but he later summoned the courage and came closer. He picked Laya up with both hands and was taking a stare look at her. "Put me back inside the water, you fool," Laya yelled at him. He screamed and then flung her aside again. He came back later, after a few seconds, and picked her up in his palms. "You tough?" he asked, stunned. "Wow, you speak English?" Laya asked him too. "Of course," he said. "But a woman spoke in a language I didn't understand," Laya said to him. "Well, that's my mom, and she spoke in our native language." "Okay, so can you please put me back in the water now?" Laya asked politely. "If I drop you back in the water, my mom might get rid of you out of fear, or do something bad to you." "Just hang on," he said, putting her on the ground, and then left and returned with a glass bottle filled with water. He carried her and put her inside the bottle. "That's it," he said, smiling. "Wow, thank you," Laya said to him, peeping through the bottle. "Meanwhile, my name is Laya. I am Jack. What are you doing here?" he asked. "Well, I can't find my way home. My mom asked me never to swim outside my place, but I decided to take a stroll. but I could no longer find my way home, and then ended up in your mom's pot of water. Please, can you help me go back home? My sister's wedding is in 2 days, and I need to get back home. Don't worry, just put me back in the river. My dad must have organized a search party by now. So, as soon as I get back in the water, I will sing our song. I'm sure my people will hear me. It's not as easy as you think, he said, scratching his head. How? She asked. You see, children are not allowed near the river here. The elders say mermaids will have them kidnapped and they won't get to see their own people ever again, he replied. That's not true. It's all lies. We don't kidnap people. And as a matter of fact, we are harmless, please. Please help me. I promise you, no harm will come near you. Okay, I will try. But I heard mermaids could make someone's wish come true. If I help you get home, what will you give me in return? He asked. I will give you whatever you want. Okay, I wish to go to the white man's land. Me, my mom and siblings. Can you make that come to pass? He asked again. Okay, I promise, Lila replied him. Jack, what is it that you're holding? His mom called his name, asking. It's an empty bottle of water, he replied. Trash it or keep it somewhere and come help me in the kitchen, she said to him. As she left, he ran into a room and then kept Lila under a pillow. This room belongs to my siblings and I, and this is my pillow, he said, tapping it. Please hang on till I'm done from the kitchen, then I will help you get back home, he added, smiling. He left, and after a few minutes, a little girl raised the pillow slowly and stood still staring at Lila with a shock on her face. Then she screamed all of a sudden. Martha, she called. Oh, who is Martha? Lila asked herself as she sat quietly in the bottle with her eyes popped open with fear written all over her face. Martha, she called again. But Jack came running in. He picked up the bottle and put it behind him. Then an older girl walked in. What is it, Anna? Why were you screaming my name like that? The older girl asked, looking at the little girl. But the little girl couldn't utter a word. She just stood there pointing at Jack. What did you do to her? What are you hiding? Martha asked. Nothing, Jack replied, while sneaking out of the room. As soon as he got to the outside door, he took to his heels. He was hiding something. Jack was hiding something behind him, little Anna managed to say. Like what? Martha asked. A mermaid. I saw a mermaid in a bottle under Jack's pillow, said Anna. What? Martha approached the bed and then attempted to raise the pillow. He already took it with him, Anna said. I'm sure it wasn't a mermaid that you saw. Maybe you saw something else, said Martha while walking out of the room. I knew no one was going to believe me, but I swear I saw a mermaid, Anna said to herself. Later that night, while the family was having dinner, Martha, Jack and Anna kept looking at each other throughout. Then, in the middle of the night, while they were all asleep, Jack brought out the bottle and said to Lila, Hi, you'll be fine, I promise. I will take you to the river tomorrow. But are you hungry? I kept some bread for you. He opened the bottle and then dropped a tiny piece of bread inside it. Who is Martha and that girl? She asked. Martha is my big sister and Anne is my little sister, he replied. But before he could utter one more word, Martha got up. And who were you talking to? She asked. Jack said, scratching his head. Martha approached and grabbed the bottle from him. What? You trapped a mermaid in there? Asked Martha. No, I didn't. I wanted to help her get back home, he replied. You are crazy, right? She asked again. No, I'm serious. I caught her from the port Mom came back with from the river this afternoon. She needs to get back home. Her sister's wedding is coming up too, Jack said, trying to convince Martha. And who told you all this? Martha asked. Lila, the little mermaid. She talks, Jack replied Martha, staring at Lila. Hi, I'm Lila, she greeted, but Martha flung the bottle in the air and hid behind Jack out of fear. But Jack caught it. Don't be afraid, Lila is harmless, Jack said. Look, Martha, Mom must not know or hear about this, okay? I promised to help Lila get home, and she, in return, has promised to fulfill my wish. Martha came out of her hiding. Fulfill your wish? Which is? Martha asked inquisitively. Going to the white man's land, Jack replied, smiling boldly. Then Martha grabbed the bottle from Jack again. What about me? Can you fulfill my wish? Martha asked. Okay, Lila replied. I want petal necklace, handbags, glass heels, earring, beautiful clothes, Martha said, still wishing, but Lila cut in. Look, I can only fulfill just a wish. I'm just a tiny little mermaid. Okay then, I want glass heels, she said, turned to Jack. I promise you I won't tell Mom about this, Martha affirmed. Then they laid down to sleep while Jack put the bottle beside him. Very early in the morning the following day, Martha woke Jack up, so they set out to the river. But on their way, they met an older lady. And where are you two going? Don't you know that children are not allowed on this path which leads to the river? She asked. Jack muttered. Now, will you both get back to wherever you are coming from? She yelled. Jack and Martha ran back as fast as their legs could carry them. Then, Martha made Jack join her in hiding behind a tree till the old lady passed them unnoticed. Then they continued on their journey to the river again. As soon as they got to the river, Merman soldiers were already everywhere looking for Lila. Jack opened the bottle and then poured her into the river. She hurried and hugged all the soldiers and they were so happy to see her. Just then, the commander of the mermaid soldiers marched and stretched forth his sword and pointed it at Martha and Jack. Where did you take her to, you two? He asked. No, they took me nowhere. He helped me instead, Lila replied. But the soldier brought out a bottle of concoction and poured it on Jack. Martha dodged it and then ran back to the village. Little Jack melted into the river slowly. Lila screamed so hard. It was very painful watching Martha run home and shouting at the top of her voice, "You betrayed us!" Lila felt so bad and cried and cried. The melted substance was collected in a small drum and was rolled away. "He's innocent," she managed to say amidst tears, but no one uttered a word or cared to listen. When they got back to their kingdom, her father and everyone was so happy to see her again, but she was looking so sad and unhappy. "Lila, we were so worried about what happened to you, and why are you looking so sad? Aren't you happy to be home?" her father asked. She sighed. "Dad, I am, but the boy that was captured by the commander was the one who saved my life. He meant no harm." "What really happened, my daughter?" her father asked. "I swam to the other neighborhood and could no longer find my way home. Then a human was fetching water by the river. I fell into her bowl she was fetching water with, and then she unknowingly threw me into her pot. This boy that was arrested caught me and put me in water and then fed me till he brought me home. What if something bad had happened to you? He needs to be dealt with," her father roared in anger. "Nothing must happen to him, please," she begged. Then she quickly swam to the commander's house. The drum was still before him with other soldiers around. He opened the drum slowly, and then the content poured out, and after a few seconds it transformed into a human. It was Jack. Lila ran to him. "Jack," she called. Jack raised his head and looked at her. "You betrayed us," he managed to say. "Get back, Lila," the commander ordered. She saw her father and mother coming from far away. "Dad, Mom, please help me save this boy. Let him go back to his people," she begged. "He needs to be dealt with," her dad said again while swimming forth. Lila left and then rushed home. After a few minutes, she returned with a bottle of poison. She made sure everyone was looking at her. She opened the bottle and pointed it at her dad. "You have few seconds to set this boy free, else I'm going to empty the contents in this bottle in my stomach," she threatened. "Lila, please don't," her mother begged. "Mom, step back," she yelled. Okay, Commander, set the boy free and let him go," her father instructed. "No, it's not just to let him go. I also want him to be handsomely rewarded," Lila said. "Okay, you name whatever it is you want for him and it shall be done," her father said. "I want him adored with gold and precious stones, with 2 big boxes full of gold and another big box full of gold necklaces, bracelets, earrings, diamonds, and glass heels. All for him," she said. "Okay, done," her father said. Then he went back home and returned with all she had mentioned and handed it over to Jack. And he also ordered the commander and few soldiers to accompany Jack to the riverside where his people would find him, and she volunteered to go with them too. Jack was adored from head to toe, and they dropped him by the river. His people were already there wailing, and as soon as they saw him get out of the water, they attempted to run away, but paused for a moment. "Is that you?" Jack's mother, who already looked exhausted, queried. "It is me, Mom," he replied. Then his mom ran to him and hugged him, then Martha and Anne. "Martha, look, Lila made them give us all these things, and the things you wish for are in the 3rd luggage," Jack said, pointing at it. "What? Wow!" exclaimed in excitement, jumping into the river. "Jack, I couldn't fulfill your wish of you traveling to the white man's land directly, but your mom can help you sell off all these and your dream may come to pass," she said. Jack and his mother turned and looked at Lila. "Thank you," they both said. Then she waved at them, and the mermaid and Lila left for home so happy. She saved Jack and fulfilled his wish. Many years later, A mermaid hurried to meet her and told her that a human was by the river, screaming her name. "A human?" she asked, and hurried after the mermaid. They arrived at the spot in no time. Laya saw the human standing so tall, handsome, and looking fresh. "Jack!" she exclaimed. "You guessed right. Yes, it's me, Jack. So good to see you again," he said, beaming with smiles. "You look so good. Where and how have you been?" Laya asked. "Well, Laya, my mom sold all you gave to me then, and we made fortune from them. Mom contacted my uncle in the city, who helped us travel abroad. I arrived in the village a few days ago to help some youths travel abroad for greener pastures too." "Thank you so much for changing my life," Jack said. "It's a pleasure, Jack. I'm glad to hear you are doing well." After catching up with old times, Jack bade her farewell and returned to the village, but they still remained as good friends. The end. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and thanks for sticking to the end. Please do comment, like, and share this video to make us reach a wider audience. I'm super grateful for you finding this page interesting and subscribing and engaging. I'm super grateful. Thank you so much. Please do well to return again for more interesting and engaging stories. Bye bye.